Recently, some people have commented on the channel that they're looking for some more budget friendly options to be playing in standard, and I think I got one here for all of you wonderful people today. This is a mono blue elementals deck that you can play for just six rare wildcards that I think are worth crafting all on their own merit. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with this deck. It is an elementals deck, so of course we have to have a few of those. We have 10 in total. Did you know Bellion the Parch is in fact an elemental villain? It's true. This is a 2/2 for 2. Whenever you cast a blue spell, which we're going to be doing plenty of in this deck, Bellion gets +1/+1 until the end of turn if Bellion is a creature. Then at the beginning of your end step, untap Bellion. Bellion turns into a land that you can tap for blue mana. This is fantastic because we have a lot of instant speed stuff in our deck, card draw, interaction, ways to protect our creatures, and we can do that with the mana that Bellion is going to be producing on our opponent's turn. We're also playing 4 copies of Eddymurk Crab. I'm sure you're aware of this one by now. This thing's fantastic. It's a 5/5 with flash. It costs 7 mana, but don't you worry. This spell costs 1 generic mana less for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. We're going to be putting plenty of them into the graveyard, so probably you're going to be casting out your Eddymurk Crabs for just 2 blue mana. When this creature enters, tap up to 2 target creatures. Fantastic overall. Then we have, of course, the Sunderflock. So the 6 rares in the deck are the 2 Bellions and the 4 copies of Sunderflock. Sunderflock is another big one. It's a 5/5 for 9 mana, but it costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest mana value among elementals you control. So if you only have a Bellion on the field, you can get a -2 discount from the Sunderflock, but we want to have the Eddymurk Crab on the field, giving us the full 7 mana discount. We do have to be a little bit careful with our creatures because we aren't playing a whole lot of them, but when they are on the field, they are going to be well protected and very deadly. When this thing enters, we get to return all non elemental creatures back to their owner's hands. It's not going to affect any of the cards on our side of the field, but it might board wipe the opponent. Then everything else in the deck is helping out these creatures. We have an lessons package in the deck, 4 copies of Octopus Form to protect and to provide kind of a combat trick for the opponent's attacks. This thing gives hexproof to our creatures, and then it untaps the creature. So we could swing in with, for example, an Eddymurk Crab. Maybe the opponent tries to attack us back. Well, we could possibly untap that Eddymurk Crab as a form of removal. Kind of neat. It'll quench a counterspell unless they pay 2 mana, and then abandon attachments, which allows us to dig through our deck. Then we want to build up our graveyard to get a full powered accumulate wisdom off. This thing will allow us to draw 3 cards for the cost of 2 if we have 3 or more lessons cards in our graveyard. Otherwise, we just get to look at the top 3 cards of our library and take one of them out of those 3. We have a little bit more interaction into the Flood Maw, allows us to bounce something. Spell Snare allows us to counter something, and Get Out also allows us to counter something. But it also allows us to return 1 or 2 target creatures or enchantments to you own to your hand. So we could use this to rescue some of our creatures if we are in a pinch. And then we have a little bit more card draw with Opt and Sleight of Hand. 20 islands round out the deck, and that is what's going on in the main board. Over in the sideboard, we got a couple of copies of Annul to get rid of artifacts and enchantments, more into the Flood Maw because this card is busted, more Spell Snares because it can come in handy against a lot of opponents, a little bit of Graveyard Hate with Soul Guide Lantern, Disdainful Stroke to counter big opponents' spells, and then finally Essence Scatter if we need to slow down some creature decks. So that is what's going on with this mono blue deck. We're going to take it onto the ladder, test it out in best of 3, and hopefully get a few wins. See you over there. Okie dokie. Time for some mono blue elemental budget elementals, I should say, in standard. I think Harkin I played against recently. That name looks very familiar. Opening hand looks good. We get to go first. We get to do sleight of hand to maybe find a little bit more spell action. And we want to get these Eddymurk Crabs nice and cheap. We're going to take the island because we don't necessarily want one more Eddymurk Crab. Our opponent is doing landfall stuff, so this is definitely stress testing this deck. We are against a mono green landfall deck, probably one of the most popular decks in the format. If it can beat this deck, then hey, a lot of validity to what is going on with this strategy. So, into the Flood Maw, return target creature an opponent controls to its hand. You know what's pretty fun? Bouncing a Bossing Say. But you know what? I think I'm going to take this time to accumulate some wisdom. We're going to grab the abandoned attachments. Just to have another thing to cast out in a minute. Now, from here, we're definitely going to be bouncing the Bossing Say with the Into the Flood mod. Do I want to Sleight of Hand or Abandon Attachments? I think I want to Sleight of Hand. We'll do that. Hey, another Into the Flood Maw. That's okay in my book. So we are definitely gearing up towards getting this Eddymurk Crab onto the field next turn. It'll cost just 2 mana. And if I can draw an island off the top of the library, I can actually be in a pretty good position to maybe Eddymurk Crab plus Sunderflock if I really want to. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bounce this Shaz's Chocobo because we do want to put the Into the Flood Maw into the graveyard, I think. And then we'll see what the opponent does. We do not find our land, but you know what? We do find a Bellion, and Bellion is pretty good in my book because we can put that on the field, and we still have our Eddymurk Crab mana. We might be able to get the opponent with a cheeky attack here if they attack full out. They might not be expecting the Eddymurk Crab as a defender, and I think what we'll do is allow the opponent to attack with all 3 creatures. Or am I just bouncing everything? Do I want to conserve my life total, or do I want to try to kill something? I think I want to kill something. Okay. So Eddymurk Crab can come flashing in. It comes in tapped. I'm dumb. I'm dumb, 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 dumb. Ignore that. Of course it comes in tapped. That's exactly what Eddymurk Crab does. It's fine. We're gonna Sunderflock even through the misplay. I knew that was a thing that it did, and I just boneheaded into it. Of course. So what we should have done is obviously just played out the Eddymurk Crab before combat, tapped down the Shaz's Chocobos, which apparently I'm mispronouncing that word. Shaz's Chocobos. Okay. The opponent has 2 blockers on the field. Are they going to also put... Okay, I guess... No, we can win here, right? Yeah, we just win here, which is crazy. Okay. So things have gone very well for us. We have 4 attackers on the next turn. They're going to put out the Badger Mole Cup here. I'm certain of that. I'm a little embarrassed that I completely flubbed the Eddymurk Crab. It's fine. You know what? By me doing that, I have taught an extraordinarily valuable lesson to all the people that are watching this deck saying, hey, guess what? Don't be like me. Make sure that you use your Eddymurk Crab not as a blocker, as a defensive piece to tap down your opponent's things. It's fine. Okay, what are we bringing in against the opponent? I feel like Spell Snare probably going to be pretty good in this matchup. I also feel like a null is man, I don't know about a null. Like Earthbender Ascension is kind of crazy, and if we can stop this, it's fantastic. Also, if they have the Sapling Nursery, which they may, but it's not a certainty, I think it's kind of good to have it in our deck. I also kind of feel like just having Essence Scatter in the deck is going to be good because the opponent is going to be playing a ton of creatures. Maybe. Probably Octopus Form, not the best in this matchup. They definitely have some interaction, but I think we can probably just stop the interaction with counter spells or something like that, or just let them do the interaction. We'll see. And then maybe Get Out is probably just fantastic in this matchup because it does everything that a Null and Essence Scatter will do all on its own. So we're definitely going down the Octopus Forms, and maybe we'll go down Eloquentia. We'll just go for a more reliable counterspell with the Essence Scatter because they're probably going to have a good amount of mana. So the odds of me being able to get them with the Eloquentia might be pretty low, especially if they're Badger Mole Cubbing and they just have like infinite amounts of mana. Okay, well, we're going to put our interaction to the test here. Turn 2, we're definitely going to be holding up the Spell Snare, the opponent's spell, turn 2, and hopefully we get a Badger Mole Cub here. Probably not. Now I'm thinking they don't have a Badger Mole Cub because the Escape Tunnel, they would have animated it. Okay, they're just attacking it with the Llanowar Elf. We get to opt. I think I don't want the island. I'd rather find a little bit... Okay, island it is. Sure. We're gonna play the island. I understand, deck. We have a null if we need it. We have the Spell Snare if we need it. If they play Ice Till Explorer, we're in trouble. If they play Might Form Harmonizer, we're in trouble. So now we kind of need our bounce spell. The Might Form Harmonizer is a big old problem. Hey, that's okay. Time walk the opponent? That sounds okay to me. Back to the hand, Might Form Harmonizer, and we have Bellion. I guess I may as well play Bellion to the field, and this Eddymurk Crab might be the savior going forward to make sure the Might Form Harmonizer stays in check just for a little while. So they go with the Earthbender Ascension. You know what? Boop. That's that feels pretty good. I think that, yeah. Ooh, if we get a Badger Mole Cup here, I'm gonna be over the moon, even if we lose. Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad. So we now have Eddymurk Crab online. Hey, Abandoned Attachments is okay too. Unfortunately, we haven't been finding lessons to fill our graveyard for the Accumulate Wisdom. A little bit of a shame. But maybe we can use the Abandoned Attachments to find a Sunderflock. So there is the Might Form Harmonizer. Probably this Spell Snare is losing its value, so I'm okay throwing it away with the Abandoned Attachments, I think. I'd rather keep the Accumulate Wisdom just in case, hey, look who showed up. Sunderflock. So they put the Sunderflock out warped. Do they have red mana? Is that a thing that they could possibly have? Okay. Okay, fine. Attack. I don't know why they warped out the Might Form Harmonizer. Like, it's definitely not worth it to get just 2 extra points of damage on me. Unless I'm misunderstanding something, which is very possible. We did just prove that we misunderstood how an Eddymurk Crab works a few seconds ago. Okay. So they double the power of the Llanowar Elf to a 4/1. That's okay. And that goes away at the end of the turn. Let's accumulate wisdom. Ooh. It's got to be the Essence Scatter, right? Accumulate wisdom's pretty good, though. I'll grab the Essence Scatter. Because it stops the Might Form Harmonizer from murdering me later. They're down to 2 cards in hand. Yeah, that feels like a pretty safe place to be. Let's use the Sleight of Hand. Spell Snare. I kind of want to grab the Spell Snare just to keep them under control. I know drawing cards is always better, but I think it's okay. Do you block here if you're the opponent? Oh, I'm so happy with this block. I think. Maybe I'm not. No, I'm no longer happy with it. It's fine. I'd rather not do it this way, but we do get to save our Bellion. Okay. And we now have Spell, Snare, and Essence Scatter mana up to make sure the opponent stays well behaved. That's a pretty good first outing for a 6 rare deck. Smacking down mono green landfall deck. It's such a good deck, and I definitely did not play this as tight as I could. Cool, cool. Oh boy, you love to see it right off the bat. Smoking a mono green landfall deck, trying to do harmonizer shenanigans, trying to run us over with a giant doubled up big old boy. Ooh, how much do you trust this opt? And the answer is probably not enough. Is the rest of the deck even, like, is the rest of the hand even good enough? We can bounce something, we can quench something, but we can't really get the Sunderflock on the field. I think it's probably a mulligan. And I think this is probably a better hand. We need a little bit of something to make this feel a little bit better. Mono green coming back for revenge. I don't like that. And especially with Horus on the play, they can get their early Badger Mole Cub onto the field before we can do anything with the Quencha. Oh, okay. So it's not mono green. Well, of course it wouldn't be mono green. Why would a mono green deck be playing Starting Town? That's a misread from me over here. I'm a little bit afraid of what they are representing with this mana. So I think probably I'm going to hold up the Idoquentia and instead maybe save the. Well, now I'm not sure what to do. Are they holding Ang? This feels like maybe Ang. If you want to flash out Ang to bounce back my accumulate wisdom, I say bring it. Okay, accumulate wisdom. Sure. So now I'm going to try to get the Bellion on the field, and I'm a little bit unsure if this is going to work out. But if it does land, and if Bellion turns into a land, we'll have the Idoquentia. If Bellion doesn't land and doesn't become a land, we could be in a little bit of trouble, and I might have overplayed my hand ever so slightly here. But Bellion's on the field. We can save it with the Octopus form if we absolutely need to. They let it go to end of turn. Please let it become a land. Oh, so they did have the Ang. I think in this case, I have to protect Bellion. Give Bellion hexproof. It stays on the field. It gets us up to 5 mana next turn, and it also puts a lesson in the graveyard so that maybe the accumulate wisdom can. Okay, I did not expect that. Badger Mole Cub with Llanowar Elves and allies. The opponent is doing some naughty stuff over there. So, do I attack in with old Bellion here? Probably, probably not, but maybe. If I attack in, it can get up to like a 4/4 at best. So I'm gonna just ease up for a turn, and I'm gonna hope that maybe this abandoned attachments or the Idoquentia can do something, and then we can also flash out maybe the Eddymurk Crab if we get the cost reduction down ever so slightly. Might be in a bit of trouble here with the opponent going first though, and having that accelerated start with the Llanowar Elf. They put in the multiverse pad. They've done quite a bit of damage to themselves. That's awfully neat. We are just taking that damage. Okay, opponent put the multiversal passage onto the field untapped. I think I'm going to throw away Idoquentia because I don't know how much value can actually get right now. And let's just opt. It's an island. I don't think I want to draw an island. I have plenty of mana. Spell Snare's okay. Do I put the Eddymurk Crab onto the field? I think so. We're going to try to put the Eddymurk Crab onto the field. They have a Kutzel Flanker, which exiles my graveyard, but man, that kind of sucks with the accumulate wisdom, right? But I guess we do get to tap down these two things, and now we have a pretty good attacker here. Octopus form. Okay, let's see what is underneath or on the top of our deck, rather. Abandoned attachments. So we could use that to start filling up our graveyard one more time to get an accumulate wisdom off. Okay. Well, let's attack. Do I attack all out? Am I going to die on the backswing? I think I kind of need to be careful here. Ah, no. I should have attacked all out because I do have the octopus form. The octopus form could have possibly represented a blocker because I can untap, which is what I said in the intro, but I got afraid. Too cowardly, as usually is the case. But we can still, of course, protect it this way. They have the Dock Arlock. You know what? We're not going to let a Dock Arlock resolve because that just means they're going to go infinite. And okay, so this is a deck that I have not faced very many times. Hopefully they don't have a follow-up Dock Arlock. Also, hopefully that motorcycle that is going off outside is not making too much noise. Airbender Ascension, they can airbend up to one target. What do you airbend? Do they airbend their own thing or do they airbend the Eddymurk Crab? I don't think you airbend your own thing, right? Okay, Aang is going to freak out as Aangs tend to do. He's upset. And Fulcrum, Reality Fulcrum, when this artifact enters exile up to 2 cards, the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast spells from exile. Okay. So they get another Fulcrum and a land, which is pretty rough. They can play out the flanker though with the mana from the reality Fulcrum. The opponent at 9, I'm at 10. I mean, this is pretty tight. This Doc Arlock airbending combo deck is not a deck that I'm overly familiar with. Um, I'm a little bit out of my depth, I would say. Okay, let's abandon attachments throwing the octopus form. And they do like, oh, it's good. So them playing the Cutzel Flanker ahead of time is actually probably a pretty good thing for me. So they can exile my graveyard one more time, but I think it doesn't really matter that they're doing that because we are now going to put the octopus form and the abandoned attachments into the graveyard, and it's possible that we can get a full accumulate wisdom off here. Drawing 2 islands is not great though. Drawing a Sunderflock. Drawing a Sunderflock is pretty great though. Everything's an elemental over there. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, sleight of hand into Sunderflock might be one of my favorite things to do. I think I unlocked a new happiness. Oh boy. All right, so Spell Snare. Okay. Essence Scatter. Okay. Somebody's car alarm is now going off outside. All right, it stopped. Hopefully that didn't get picked up on the microphone. I stopped talking for a minute. We need to remove 4 things, so we are bringing interaction in. How important is spell form going to be? They do have Ang to bounce things. Maybe. They also, I don't know about Into the Floodmaw. I think Into the Floodmaw might not be the best way to go about things, bouncing that stuff, giving them, I don't know, extra value there. So I think probably go down a couple of octopus forms, bring in the creature countering stuff, and hope that the counter spells line up again like they did in the last match against the mono green opponent. All right. Spell Snare and Eloquentia. So Spell Snare is so fantastic when you are on the draw. You get to play out your island because normally you would be so far behind. The opponent has a turn 1, they put out their land, and then they can make that 2-drop before you can really do anything. But this ensures that you can keep them under control. We have the opt, however. Yeah, sure. You keep sleight of hand on top. The opt is really good as a backup thing to do if the spell snare fails. I didn't play a sleight of hand here because I'm kind of thinking that maybe an Eloquentia might work as well if they have a 3 CMC spell here. They don't have a 3 CMC spell. So now I will go sleight of hand. And we can hold up the quench and the spell snare. I'll take the Bellion, I think. And we have to be a little bit careful of a Cutzel Flanker. I think the Cutzel Flanker could be a little bit annoying because we do need to get the Eddymurk Crab onto the field ASAP so that we have the Sunderflock as a backup. And we are very obviously holding up 2 mana each turn. So the opponent should know something is up. We'll play out the Bellion. If they go to counter the Bellion, I think I might just let it go. I think I have to let it go because they have a Cavern of Souls on the field. I don't remember seeing a Cavern of Souls in the previous game. So that happened. We have the Quench still. We have the Spell Snare. We'll see. Now, thankfully, Bellion is not gone forever because Aang just puts him into a little bit of a timeout zone over here. Oh no, Druid. That means that they'll be able to get... they'll be able to put... what's it called? Doc Arlock onto the field. I'm pretty sure Doc Arlock must be a druid. That's a druid. Can't counter it. Doc Arlock, welcome to the party. And I have no choice but to fire off this Accumulate Wisdom for 0 cards in the graveyard. Suddenly, Abandoned Attachments is starting to look like the only card that I'm going to be able to play out. I guess I can go Sleight of Hand. Maybe Sleight of Hand is better than the Abandoned Attachments. We need the island, so I'm going to grab that. I need to be able to make my land drops. And if I put Bellion onto the field, I can Eddymurk Crab. but it feels like they're holding up. It kind of feels like they're holding up another Ang. They are holding up another Ang. So again, Valion into the timeout zone, and this is where we might die. So I can hold up the Idoquentia, but I think they combo with Appa, and Appa is an ally. So with the Cavern of Souls on the field, I'm pretty sure I'm kind of left with no recourse against them. So if they have that right now, we lose. But they go with the Reality Fulcrum, which is such a shame because that was my thing that I could have used to quench. We're gonna have to use the Eddymurk Crab. Okay, hey, Spell Snare. That's good. This is good. We can hit the Bramble. Are they gonna put out? Oh, the flanker. There was their opportunity. So they have now wiped our graveyard, putting us pretty far behind on the Eddymurk Crab again. That being said, I can put out the Abandoned Attachments. That's good. Let's do Abandoned Attachments. It'll quench you. Not getting any value in this game. It'll quench you. May as well put that onto the field. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to. Oh, I know I can play Eddymurk Crab out now. Doc Arlock doesn't matter. So let's pass the turn. Do I want to do it in their upkeep? I think I do. So I can't attack him because I can't cast anything. I need to be able to cast the Eddymurk Crab out for 5. End of turn. On their upkeep, we're going to put the Eddymurk Crab onto the field, tapping down Cutzel Flanker and Ang if they allow us to do it. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. If they have a way of going to the combo now, like there's nothing we can really do. So we just kind of got to hope that they have drawn badly. This Doc Arlock in the exile zone really bad when they just have a one sitting on the field. I didn't realize that Doc Arlock was an uncommon. That's pretty cool. Get in for 5. And we do have the Sunderflock. Now, I don't think they have like hard counters in their deck. So Cutzel Flanker bouncing it back to hand, playing it out again, exiling our graveyard, it's fine because we have the Sunderflock, which is just going to bounce everything anyways, right? Or sorry, the Sunderflock. It doesn't matter. The Eddymurk Crab's already on the field. So wait, what did they do there? They scried. They did not exile our graveyard. They probably realized that exiling the graveyard is useless in this situation. They have used, notably, they have used their Cavern of Souls that is on ally, which means if we put the Sunderflock onto the field and they try to cast out the Ang, we can use the Idoquentia. So that's what we're doing. Sunderflock. It feels pretty safe. Bye-bye. And I'm gonna try to bait the Ang here. Get out. Do I want get out? I can return my creatures only. So probably I don't want get out. No, let's put it on the bottom of our library. Spell Snare's okay. They're at 20 life, which is not dead. If they flash out the Ang here, that'd be pretty sweet. That's what I want. We want to see Ang come flying out. Come to the field, my boy. It's a Cutzel Flanker. You know what? I think it's okay to counter the Cutzel Flanker because this puts our Accumulate Wisdom up to 3 lessons in the graveyard. And so now I can actually cast it. I can cast it, right? And I may as... No, we're not going to do it now. Because even if they Ang, like they just bounce it, they airbend it for 2 mana, it's not a big deal. Who cares? They're going to need to combo. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, well, we do this. They Ang. We can't do anything about that. The Spell Snare goes into exile, but it cuts them off on their mana a little bit. And wait, what happened? Oh, Oh, that's what they can do. That's so I've never seen that before. So what they did is they put out the Bramble Familiar, they anged the Bramble Familiar, which is crazy. You can do your own spells, airbend up to one other target spell. That's crazy that it can be your own spell. Of course it can. He can save whatever he wants. Um, whoa, that was caught me off guard. I don't know what to do now. I don't know what to think. But they need to do something about the Sunderflock, the Eddymurk Crab, and the Bellion. We have the Accumulate Wisdom. They don't know that, obviously, but okay, they are going to try to exile our graveyard, or are they scrying? They gain life and scry 2. So if we can use the Accumulate Wisdom or the Abandoned Attachments to go and find another Sunderflock, there are 3 more in the deck. Show me a Sunderflock. Okay. Abandoned Attachments. Ballion not overly useful here. Hmm. Well, at the very worst, I get to attack in with a pretty powerful board. Okay, the opponent just blocks on the Sunderflock. We let it go. Boom, boom. And we see what they do. We hold up the Quench and the Abandoned Attachments and see if we can finish the game off on the next turn. Again, this It'll Quench might get some value at some point, but I think it's a little bit tricky. If they have an Appa here, I think they might just go infinite. I'm not exactly sure how the combo works with Doc, Arlok, and Appa. So there is Appa. He comes down. What does Appa do? Nothing? No, there you go. He airbends something. He airbends the Cutzel Flanker and the Fulcrum Reality, and he can cast these things out for free. We can counter something. What is more important to counter? So they make a baby, and then if I let this resolve, they have 2 mana. If I counter it, I mean, I can't even counter it because they just pay for it. Okay. Actually, no, that mana was restricted mana, right? That mana was mana that they have to use for spells in exile. So they can't use that mana to pay for the Idoquentia, I believe is how it works. So I wonder, somebody that knows this Doc Arlok deck a lot better than I do has to tell me if that was the right play. I'm more afraid of the Airbender Ascension because when this comes in, they're able to bounce the Appa, which then like starts looping things, and I don't think that's what I want to be happening. So we get rid of that. And in fact, they couldn't use that 2 mana for that. However, they do have 2 of these things now, and that means that they're going to have 4 more mana that they can use to cast the Cutzel Flanker, the Wistfulness, whatever they want. And we can't really get in unless we find a Sunderflock and bounce everything, which maybe we can with this Abandoned Attachments, but it's a big ask. Bramble Familiar, here it comes. I don't know if I should be conceding in this spot or not. Like, I really am unsure about how or what the opponent does to win. They obviously have a very nice board, but how much more can they do? And we definitely have draws. We have so many draws. We're gonna see at least 3 cards. We do have a lot of cards in our deck that just draw us into other stuff. We don't have a good attack outside of the Sunderflock right now, so we get rid of the Appa, but I don't know. Okay, they do go with the Cutzel Flanker just to exile our graveyard this time. They've been leaving our graveyard nice and alone. They do go for the graveyard exile, which I think is fine. Oh, Eddymurk Crab also wins it for us. Okay, Abandoned Attachments, bye-bye Island. Give me something good. Eddymurk Crab, there we go, GG. All that fussing about, and we get to cast out the Eddymurk Crab on our turn, tapping down the Appa, tapping down one of these. I should have tapped the Arlok, and we fly in for the final 2 points of damage. And this budget deck wrecking actual known decks, well-constructed combo decks. Huh. On a quick little note about that Doc Arlock deck, like I like the deck, but I'm not a big fan of infinite combo stuff like that. I don't think Doc Arlock is a healthy thing to have in the format because you saw how much time the opponent's turns took. Nobody wants to sit there and just wait for the opponent to do all these game actions. I really want the spell snare, but I think it's probably going to be a little bit too late. Well, no, I think we need to hit our land drops. It's tough. It's a tough one. We don't know where our opponent is, so we will put the yeah, we'll put it in the graveyard. It's fine. I think it was the overall right choice to grab the land. You need to make your land drops. You can't just be sitting here with 2 islands in hand. You need the third one, fourth one, fifth one, and I don't know how much value I would get out of a spell snare. Turns out 0. Well, let's fire off this accumulate wisdom. Accumulate wisdom just to get 1 card. It's honestly it's not so bad. In this case, I do think I'm going to grab the sleight of hand because I do want to put some more. I want to put more sorceries and instant speed spells in the graveyard. There is another It'll Quench Ya. Our Eddymurk Crab is going to be a little bit cheaper. Let's grab it. Sure. Hopefully we can get some value out of this thing. We need to fire this off this turn to really feel good about it and then hold up another one for the subsequent turn. We're not getting any value out of it, but we do now have the Eddymurk Crab online. I suppose there is a world where I could possibly flash that in, but I think we're probably going up against a 3 steps ahead. So I don't think I don't think I'm going to be resolving anything. Probably it was the opt. The opponent is very clearly playing a control deck. Mist Rise Village. People don't play that card in normal decks. And now I can't really put the Eddymurk Crab onto the field comfortably. Opt is kind of good to fire it off right now because maybe the Opt could find me a sleight of hand to cast with the other 2 mana, but I think kind of holding up both of these It'll Quenchas might be okay. And then we'll Opt on the opponent's turn. Okay, we need something good on the top of our deck. Sunderflock, not really good enough. Island, better than a Sunderflock. Not going to try to jam the Eddymurk Crab this time around, but next turn I might. If they are holding a 3 steps ahead, they might try to... Wow. Ooh, okay, so hang on. What does this card say? Exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. So they may only play that until the end of this turn. I'm going to try to slam the Eddymurk Crab this time around because I have a feeling the opponent might try to 3 steps ahead plus draw cards, which would be using 5 mana. And I might try to get the It'll Quench Ya through. But turns out maybe they just have a removal spell for it. Double Lightning Helix? That would be wild. My turn. Whoa, and we have another It'll Quench Ya, and we have the octopus form. So this turned into something. Okay. Eddymurk Crab, get in, brother. Octopus form. Untap. Become an octopus. 3 steps ahead. No, whoa. Eddymurk Crab getting in for 6 damage. That's cool. Boom. Take it to you. All right, let's just hold up. Double It'll Quench Ya. We are fighting through a ton of mana, and I'm not sure how that's going to go, especially since this is only counter pay 2. All right, stock up it is. You know, I don't like letting stock ups resolve, but what choice do I have? If they try to go with another Get Lost, that'll be pretty sweet this time around. I don't think they've made their land drop. There's their land drop. Sleight of hand, okay. Okay, try to hit you for 5. Boom. Oh man, I really want to try to jam the Sunderflock. Sunderflock is really bad in this matchup. Accumulate Wisdom's not terrible. If I start fighting over some spell and get the Idle Quencha into the graveyard. The Accumulate Wisdom drawing 3 cards can be pretty sweet. 2, 4, 6, 8 mana from the opponent. They have Northwind Avatar. Let's counter that. Let's counter that. Whoa, okay. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So they go and they grab something from outside of the game. What are they grabbing from outside the game? I'm so scared. Is this an elemental? It's not an elemental. Oh no. Oh man, I really wish it revealed it. Okay. Well, hey, octopus form. Never know. Let's try to bounce everything. This is not going to work out for me at all. But this is where we are. I have a feeling this is a board wipe that I'm not going to be able to interact with because I only have a single Idle Quencha left. Where's my Bellion? Bellion is the card that you absolutely need in this matchup. Oh my goodness, Bellion would have been so good. Strategic Betrayal. All right. Let's get rid of the Sunderflock. Oh no, I'm so stupid. I forgot what Strategic Betrayal does. Of course it does multiple things. But the Strategic Betrayal probably means that they don't have board wipe. So I think it was actually smart of me, in hindsight, not to fire off the Accumulate Wisdom there. Because I need all my resources to be able to protect my Eddymurk Crab. If you're not getting roped by a guy playing a Jace avatar, what are you doing with your life, right? What are you doing with your life? Quenched! Gotcha! And then I get roped. I'm having far too much fun playing this deck. This is fun for 6 rares, and it can be made better. That's something I'm going to talk about in the wrap up. But hey, Cavern of Souls is legal in this format. Consult a desperation. Consult the star charts. GG opponent. This deck taking down another pretty. I don't know. This deck I'm not sure about. I'm Northwind Avatar doing weird stuff. I know I've seen a few decks playing it, but it's not something that's really in my wheelhouse. I think we bring in the Disdainful Strokes. Probably seems like an okay card to bring in. I don't know about Essence Scatter. Essence Scatter, tough. They have Consult the Star Chart, Strategic Betrayal, and Get Lost. So Spell Snare is also probably not terrible. Maybe we try this. What are we taking out from our deck, though? I think Into the Floodmaw, probably not going to have so many targets. We get rid of that. And honestly, Sunderflock, how good is Sunderflock? I think I need to keep them in the deck because they are our kill card, but like I have to have an Eddymurk Crab on the field to get a Sunderflock on the field. And then I'm just so soft to a board wipe. And that's going to feel real bad. I don't think the Idle Quenchas are going to work. I'm going to maybe keep a couple. I think I'm going to go like that. I'm going to keep 2 of them. Bring in the Disdainful Strokes to get rid of the big old boys. Bring in the Spell Snare to stop the Get Lost or the Strategic Betrayals. And we'll try it like that. All right, let's see if we can take another win against a very interesting Avatar of the North Wind deck. A card that I think a lot of people didn't put any stock into and has actually turned out to be pretty good. This is close, right? Because if we end up keeping the Sleight of Hand, it finds us our second land. We go out with a Bellion, but is this just Magical Christmas Land? Is that actually going to work out for me? I got to throw it away. Okay, we'll keep it. And I guess we get rid of the Sunderflock because it's not castable. It's never going to be cast. Okay. Island from the opponent. I don't imagine they're going to have anything on turn 2 for us to Spell Snare, so we will just take the Abandon Attach. We'll just play out the Sleight of Hand is what I meant. Mm. 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 Yeah, yeah, of course. Of course, a deck that's playing control and playing white would certainly be playing Rest in Peace. Like, why not? Right? It seems like a pretty good thing to be playing. I don't want to throw away an island, but I'm gonna throw away an island. Yeah, I think I. Oh man, I'm pretty sure we just lose right from that now. I may as well play a sleight of hand. I can bounce. I think I want the land. I can. No, I took out the Into the Flood Moss, and even if I did bounce it, like, hmm, okay, I got egg on my face. Oh, but they are stumbling, so it's possible that I can get up to 7 mana and play out an Eddymurk Crab. Where is my Bellion? Show me, show me a Bellion, please. Disdainful Stroke. Okay, for future stuff. Did I say show me a Bellion? This works, right? This works every single time. Bellion hits the field. Bellion is the hero. I need this to resolve so badly. Show me a 3 steps ahead. Let's go, baby. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Yeah, I have egg on my face from letting a Rest in Peace resolve when I certainly didn't need to let it resolve. I 100% could have taken care of that if I had done, a little bit more thinking. But hey, at least we called our shot with the 3 steps ahead. That's a little bit of a win. Bellion back, and we have an octopus form to protect the Bellion. Bellion also discounting our. No, 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 sir. No, no, we're not doing that today. Uh, hmm. Yeah, no, this was probably better. I don't know. Spell Snare, Octopus Form, which one's better to cast there? Bellion discounting the Sunderflock by 2. Not so bad. I knew. Not letting that happen. Get out of here. A second Bellion? What? I don't want that. I suppose I could have cast it, but we probably want to pitch it to Abandoned Attachments. This opponent getting stuck on 3 mana, having a rough go of things. We now have the get out, so we can possibly counter. Like, they're going to be pinched on mana. Man, I really wish I had my quenches now, right? Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Well, Abandoned Attachment's cool. I kind of want to fire it off. I fire it off, right? Just to get a little bit more pump on the belly. And they're not going to have 2 removal spells with 3 mana. Like, they're so pinched on mana. That's a Spell Snare. Okay. So they counter it. It's actually kind of fine because mostly the reason I was doing that was just to get the pump on Bellion anyways. Okay. Keep doing your thing, little dude. Keep whittling them down. Whittling? And we are actually 1 mana source away from being able to cast out the Eddymurk Crab on end step. Or like on their turn, rather. They're down to 5. What a silly game. I'm not gonna get better value than countering a Wang Shi Tong with a get out, so see ya. Bellion, get back in line. You'll have your moment. Oh, we're into Disdainful Stroke mana range. Okay. Let's fire off. Come on, let's go, Bellion. We're fighting through. Can't be countered. Can't be countered. This I think this works. No? Yes, it does work. Oh, I miss lethal. I miss lethal. I miss lethal. I miss lethal. I'm so dumb. I had it. I could have countered the inevitable. I could have cast the disdainful stroke to pretend to counter the inevitable defeat. It would have pumped my Bellion up by 1, and I would have been able to get that last point of damage in. I don't deserve to win this. I had it. I had it. Oh, I had it. Oh, I had it. No, I've thrown it all away. I've thrown it all away. I feel so foolish now. Oh, I'm not gonna, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I'm going to be thinking about that one. Oh, of course, the disdainful stroke wouldn't have countered the inevitable defeat, but I could have gotten the trigger on belly, and I wasn't thinking properly. Okay. Oh, okay. This is real sucky because, oh, thank God, Unagi. We back down to one. We need 7 mana to be able to cast out these Eddymurk crabs. We need Balion to live. Otherwise, we are so toast. Oh, Northwind Avatar. Okay, so the opponent, 1 mana open. Maybe they're saying, what are they saying? I'm going to set a stop there. And I'm going to pass through the turn, no attack, end step, go back. Okay, Balion back in line. And we are going to cast the Eddymurk Crab. We're going to cast it here, not there. It's fine. Eddymurk Crabs onto the field. Yes, the Northwind Avatar untaps, but I wanted to make sure that the Eddymurk Crab resolved, so it's a thing that they have to deal with. I really want to draw a 7th land, actually. As crazy as that sounds. If I can just hard cast Eddymurk Crabs and have the Belion as an attacker, we could be in pretty good shape. What are your last 3 cards? They did grab something from outside the game with the Northwind Avatar. Did I say Avatar the Northwind earlier? Probably I did. Okay. If I attack with both, there's a very good chance that they'll block. What will they block? Do I just flash out the Eddymurk Crab here? No, let's just go for it. Okay, I'm actually kind of cool with that. What do you got? Lightning Helix. Okay. Abandoned Attachments has never once in my life let me down. Okay, it let me down. It let me down. It let me down real hard. I needed an opt. Okay, it's fine. It's actually it's suddenly we're in real bad shape again. Maybe that was a stupid attack. They're down to 5 untapped mana, maybe 6. No, they didn't get a land. Opt was the next card. My heart is broken. Okay. Let's pass the turn back. Let's see what they got. It's a consult the star charts. So that lets me jam the Eddymurk Crab, and I'm just gonna do it now to get through counter magic. Oh, this game should be over. I should be, honestly, I would have been done my wrap up by now. I would have taken down the green screen. I would have turned off all these lights. I would have probably laid down in bed for a little bit and taken a bit of a rest, watched some YouTube shorts, but I missed that lethal. I don't deserve to win this, but I'm going to keep fighting through it. They've gained a lot of life, by the way. Inevitable defeats, lightning helix, all this good stuff. Okay. Fine. I'm not really fine, but fine. We are running out of ways of killing the opponent. Actually, how many do we even have? 1, 2, 3. We only have 1 more Eddymurk Crab, and we have 2 more Sunderflocks in the deck. So I might be done in this game. We had it. All right. Oh, I needed that land. Oh, okay. Well, the deck provides, I suppose. Okay. Hard cast Sunderflock. If they counter it, I think probably I'm gonna scoop it up. The opponent, we had our opportunity to do it, and we'll go to the next game. We can get him back. We'll get him back. That was fun at the very least. I think I like mostly the way it is. I don't think Into the Flood mod is going to be really good against the Rest in Peace because you just bounce it and then it comes back. And when it hits the field, it's already done its damage, exiling all of our lessons from the graveyard. So bad news. We don't have any way of stopping a rest in peace, but what we do have is a Bellion, and I think we all saw how powerful Bellion was in that last game. Don't have an untapped blue source, please. Don't have an untapped blue source on turn one, please, 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 please. Bellion time. Bellion. I love this card so much. It is such an awesome card. And I'm really liking Octopus form being here just to protect the poor little boy. Accumulate Wisdom is fine. Do I want to fire it off? Yeah, sure. All the can I have all? If only I had lessons in the graveyard, I could have had all three of these. Oh man, I want the island, but I have an island drop. It's probably fine. Disdainful Stroke didn't really help me out so much. I think I probably just need this. No, I'm gonna grab the Disdainful Stroke. We're gonna trust Bellion to get us through this matchup. We really need this Octopus form to protect the Bellion from the inevitable defeat. The combo, Octopus form plus Disdainful Stroke, could have won the game previously. Stock up pretty good. Gets around all of our counter magic except for Quench. Maybe Quench is right to keep in the deck against this opponent. They do end up getting a lot of mana, and the card is just like so bad late game, but it has it gets so much value in those first few turns. And with Bellion, the way Bellion works, always untapping himself. Like I had the mana to be able to potentially quench that stock up if I had it in hand, of course. Okay, let's see what they have. I would prefer it to be like a Wang Shitong. Nothing. Okay, so they just take 2 damage. Is it going to be a consult the star charts? No, disdainful stroke. So knowing, no. Okay, you have gotten lost my Bellion. I have a second Bellion. I'm gonna keep these map tokens. Maybe they were good to crack there, but I think I wanted to keep up 4 mana just in case both of these could come into play. The rest in peace would be pretty devastating, I think, right now. We are having a hard time filling our graveyard anyway. Probably not a big deal. Okay, let's put 1 map token on the Bellion. I really like that the opponent waited to cast the Get Lost, just because they probably knew that we had defensive magic to stop whatever spells they were going to cast. And so take the 2 damage. Yeah, it's a smart play, I think. So we're going to make a land drop here. We're going to have 4 mana for the next turn. We could have had 5 mana for the... Ooh. I'm going to keep it. Yeah, we're going to keep that on top. We like that card. Tack in for 5, down to 8. And we're going to have 2 spells to hold up. And we have potential Eddymurk Crabs in the future. Gonna crab ya? Okay, 6 mana. What do you got, opponent? We're going to fire off the sleight of hand. Pump up the Bellion. They have Get Lost. Get Lost does not stop that, but what it does is maybe allows us to return the Bellion to hand. Do I really want to rescue my Bellion? They've already killed 1, and I think Bellion is such an important card that I think it's actually worth it. Inevitable defeat. All right. They used a lot of resources to get rid of my poor boy. And now we get to crab them. Spell Snare. We're going to hold it because Rest in Peace is going to be devastating. So this will allow me to Spell Snare and Disdainful Stroke something, and then Eddymurk Crab potentially. Get out of here, Northwind Avatar. And Eddymurk Crabs are on the field. Are they on the field right now? Nope. We're going to hold them into the... Oh, dang. Okay. We're going to do this now, I think, just to tap it down so that they don't go and get a counter spell. Was that right? What do they get from the sideboard with this card? I really don't know. Hmm. 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 Why is it 11? Why is it 11? Okay. Oh man. Oh, why is it 11? Okay. Attack in. Down to 1. It's down to 1. Oh, it's gonna be a board wipe. I'm so worried. 2 cards left in hand. They're gonna attack because they're board wiping. Oh, okay, abandon attachments. Inevitable defeat on one of the Eddymurk Crabs. They still have 1 card. I don't think they grabbed an inevitable defeat from the grave from the sideboard, right? Ooh, Sunderflock. Sleight of hand. Let's play the sleight of hand. I shouldn't have played the island. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Quench. It's a 3 steps ahead. It's a 3 steps ahead. 100% of the. Oh no, I miscounted the mana. I miscounted the mana. Oh, but they didn't have it. They didn't have anything, and we do end it. Oh, baby, through some messy plays, we take down a hard control deck with this budget mono blue deck. This is awesome. This deck, my deck. I hate their deck. Mm. All right, I am a believer in this budget elementals deck. This thing is awesome. There's so much going on in it, and I think especially in that last game, we really saw the power. Let's put them over here. We saw the power of the 2 rares that we are crafting, 6 in total cards, but 2 different cards. You know what I mean? Bellion was getting it done against a control opponent. They have such a hard time dealing with it because they can't board wipe it away. They need to use spot removal. And then you're sitting here with octopus forms and spell snares, and you're bringing in other things that could possibly stop the Bellion or stop the card that's removing the Bellion, was what I meant. And this thing just keeps chipping in and chipping in, eventually burning the opponent down, especially when they're on a control deck where they can't muster up any kind of defense. Sunderflock, it wins games against the mono green opponents. You drop a Sunderflock, they lose everything. You get to attack in freely with your Eddymurk Crabs. Everything about that is awesome. So I think it's totally worth it. Now, should you craft these cards? Absolutely. Sunderflock is used in plenty of decks. It's being used in any of the elemental, but it's not being used in plenty of decks. It's being used in many different variations of the elementals decks that are flying around. Now, the elementals decks are super expensive if you're looking to get into the elementals decks, um, the proper elementals decks. However, there's the Izzet Spellementals deck, which is a much cheaper version. So you could start with something like this, and you could build your way towards the Izzet Spellementals deck, where you're starting to craft some of the rare lands that you would need for that deck. Things like Steam Vents, Inspire Bluff Canal, for example. But until then, Sunderflock in a deck like this seems kind of awesome. And then Bellion, uh, it's only 2 rares, and I have used Bellion in several decks. You can obviously use him in like a mono blue tempo type deck where you're flashing things in, you're keeping Bellion mana up to cast out um, the 2 CMC guy that taps something down, and counter magic and Tashana's Tidebinder and all kinds of stuff like that. That deck works. It's fun to play. I actually really enjoy playing that deck. It's a really good time. You can also use probably Bellion in the Izzet um, bounce deck where you have the oh my god, I'm forgetting the name of it. The thing that makes otters that literally nobody likes. Storm Chaser's Talent. I got there. I just had to think about it for a little bit longer. Storm Chaser's Talent. You know, you have this thing out, you have your boomerang basics. Why not play Bellion in a deck like that? It works. I have played it. I have variations of that deck on the channel in other videos. So I think both of these cards are worthwhile crafts. That's all I'm selling you on. And I think your 6 rares well spent. The rest of the deck being rares, or sorry, uncommons and common cards. you know, I do understand that some people do have uncommon wild card problems, but I mean, you'll accumulate them soon enough. It doesn't take too long to build up a good amount of uncommon wildcards to be crafting, and you're getting kind of the half of a lessons package here when you're crafting these cards. So maybe you can go into a lessons deck sideboard, common, uncommon, 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 common, common. Yeah, so a good split over there, like 7 and 8, something like that. Overall, this deck slaps, and I had a ton of fun playing it. It's a really cool thing knowing when you can get your Eddymurk Crab out, and even through a rest in peace, you can still do things because you kind of just keep the opponent in check and eventually build up to 7 or 9 mana. That's it for this one. Let me know if you want to see more budget builds, maybe some budget themes that you would also like to see. And let me know what you think about this one. Will you be trying this one out on the ladder? It should have reset by the time I release this video. That's it for this one. I think it ended up running a little bit long because I should have won that last game so much earlier. We should have gone 2-0, 2-0, and 2-0, but I was a dummy dingus and I missed it. That's besides the point. That's it for this one. Take care, everyone. Sarang ipana, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.